The Empire needs the Dark Lady of Nuln. One day, all lives must end. Death would be such an inconvenience. One day, all lives must end.
So, for the longest time, going back to Warcraft 1, a lot of the Empire leaders were generic lords, other than certain named ones that were not playable, like Boris Todbringer, which I know plenty of people are still waiting for Todbringer to get some love and become a playable lord. But I first learned about this character actually via another mod that added a bunch more of extra characters. I actually showed this off in a video I did recently about a modded unique quest battle, where I actually briefly showed off this character, but it was the modded version, not the official version. Now we officially have this character in the game. Elspeth von Draken. For 3 generations, the name of Elspeth von Draken, Magistrix of the Amethyst College and Archwizard of the Lore of Death, has been spoken of in hushed tones in the reeking tavern gutters and vaulted noble halls of Nuln alike. An obsessive experimenter and mystic, Elspeth goes where she will, collecting and collating a storehouse of mystical artifacts and lore, which she guards jealously. Surrounded by all manner of occult items, Elspeth has become so saturated with the force of Shyish, the amethyst wind of death, that there are some who whisper that she is no longer human at all. To her enemies, Elspeth seems to stand halfway between life and death, a violent specter in human form, whose magic destroys all it touches. And I believe she is also related to Isabella von Karstein, which may explain her connections to the lore of death, as well as some of the vampire bloodlines. So, of course, we all know where she starts, in Nuln and Wizenland, right, near where Altdorf is, as it's been since Warcraft 1. It's the same case with the Immortal Empires map. Wherever Nuln and Wizenland are, that's where Elspeth is going to start now. So, I am really excited for this, because I love playing the Empire. It's one of my favorite factions to play in the game. I will probably make a video talking about the changes to Karl, specifically, considering that Karl is one of my favorite. Usually whenever I play the Empire, I usually end up just playing Karl, like, every time. But I am obviously interested in trying out the other Empire Lords, even Wolfheart, which I don't really usually play. But let's just say some of these changes do make me want to try out some of the other ones. The fact that Wolfheart and Balthazar get some other unique changes as well. But of course, we're mainly here to talk about Miss von Draken here, who starts off with one of the more unique units that the Empire gets, the Nuln Ironsides. If you look at some of the extra units, yes, you'll notice that Gorchik and Felix are up here. Obviously, she can get them later. I'll talk more about them when we get to Malachi, but you'll notice some of the other interesting units here as well, such as the Grundle's Defenders. Those guys are new. These Hockland Long Rifles, along with the Ironsides here. And, of course, the Steam Tank also got some love, which I'm very happy about, because one of my favorite things about playing the Empire is this right here, is having armies with these artillery and war machines. I absolutely love doing this. The land ship, one of the new units here, along with the steam tank with a volley gun. I'm just like, yes, please. That just sounds fantastic. And some of the other new units that are specific for her, which have to do with Amethyst, but we'll talk about that when we get to her unique mechanic. And the Emperor's Wrath, a unique steam tank, which I wonder if Creative Assembly borrowed this from the mod Unique Steam Tanks that adds a number of unique steam tanks you can make as the Empire, including the Emperor's Wrath. But, you know, I'm not opposed to that. By all means, Creative Assembly, borrow ideas from the modders. Like, they're putting them in through mods because we're trying to get them into the game, even if they're not official. But we are more than okay with you adding them officially. And I'm sure some modders are okay with that as well, because some are even changing their mods or discontinuing them because they prefer the official ones that were added as opposed to what their mod added. So anyways. Elspeth has access to the Imperial Gunnery School, enabling access to unique unit upgrades and special units, plus 10% research rate, minus 15% upkeep for gunnery units in all armies, and a double experience gain for artillery and gunnery units in all armies. She is immune to vampiric attrition. I wonder why that is. Minus 20% cooldown for Lore of Death magic, and she has Dark Walker, which a 30-second duration on a 2-minute cooldown to give her 40% physical resistance. Among those who study the obscure depths of the occult, there are mages who walk the tenuous bonds between life and death. Throughout the cavernous courts of Nuln are whispers of one who exists within this nebulous realm of reality, regarded as an inhuman specter of unlife. Elspeth von Draken, Magistrix of the Amethyst Order, steeps herself in Shyish and the mastery of the lore of death. Though many shun the wielders of the deathly arts, the Graveyard Rose is unquestioned in her steadfast defense of the Empire. Heeding her warnings of evil on the horizon, the Elector Countess of Wizenland has granted the Pallid Sorceress across to access to the renowned might of the Imperial Gunnery School. Whether by her command of magic or the lethal guns of Nuln, the Empire's enemies shall be granted death everlasting.
To die is to find eternal sanctuary, safety from the horrors of this land. But to study death, to know its secrets, is to venture down a path that few dare tread. Atop her blackened tower, the Graveyard Rose, Elspeth von Draken fights to protect the fallen, driving back the forces of evil. A perennial guardian of the Empire.
Beneath death's shadow, our enemies fall.
Wizenland stands vulnerable, as ogres and their gluttonous kin bring death to the Empire's door. The Graveyard Rose, Elspeth von Draken, is resolved to send them to their graves, for nearby blood fiends also gather in strength. If the law of death cannot force them back into the darkness, then the guns and black powder of the Empire's greatest armory shall do it for her. No longer can the Dark Lady of Nuln tolerate the undead scourge. Their impending destruction shall be a warning to all who threaten her realm.
Winds of Shyish, usher our enemies into the deathly halls of doom.
So it's Shyish. Also, Manfred, what are you doing there? I guess he already usurped Vlad. Well, I certainly have no issues going after Manfred. Also, can I just say real quick, I miss the advisor. I don't necessarily have anything against this new narrator doing this deep, voice, but she's not as interesting or as captivating to listen to as the advisor, I liked the advisor. I thought his voice actor did an excellent job. This lady, I'm just not really liking her, But from what I understand, that gentleman retired. I don't blame him. I'm sure he was happy to do his part and then call it quits. But I just miss him, It was one of the things I loved about the original intros we got for this game with those other campaigns. But anyways. Magistrix Elspeth von Draken feels the coming danger of an ancient evil stirring somewhere in the world. In service to the Elector Countess of Wisland, she must help strengthen the Empire's borders and authority as she waits for the evil to show itself. With access to the military advancements of the Imperial Gunnery School, she empowers herself further, using her unique knowledge of the Amethyst Winds of Shaiish and the Gardens of Mor. Once the ancient evil appears, defeating it in the final battle will secure the Empire's safety and earn Wisland and Nuln their campaign victory. So, purchase a unit upgrade in the Gunnery School, which will give us a armor piece called the Prototype Field Coat Mark 24? How many of these... Why has she gone through so many of these? Which provides 20% ammunition, fire resistance, and missile resistance. So, the Gunnery School. Needless to say, this is something I got very excited about because, as I said, one of the things I love about playing the Empire are the artillery and war machines, which it seems to go ahead and focus on. I also like the cavalry, but seriously, the artillery and war machines are my favorite part of playing as the Empire. The Imperial Gunnery School panel offers special upgrades for gunnery and artillery units in return for schematics earned from the damage such units inflict in battle. Clicking the unit images displays each category's potential upgrades. The list of units to potentially receive the displayed upgrades is shown over here. Each upgrade's effects are listed when a category is selected. Each upgrade costs schematics to permanently add its effects to all the selected category's units. Some Imperial Gunnery School upgrades are available to purchase from the start, while more advanced ones require the school to be increased to a higher level. So it looks like it has increase the level of the school, similar to Ikeklaw's workshop. The requirements to increase the gunnery school's tier level and the associated rewards can be viewed in tooltips over the bar sections at the top. Yeah, so very much like Ikeklaw's workshop. Completing the Imperial Gunnery School's Tier 2 requirements unlocks the Amethyst Armory, where schematics can be spent on exclusive and limited Amethyst units and powerful restockable single-use abilities. So we've got the Gunnery Infantry, which affects these guys over here, and each one can't do that. We've got the Gunnery Cavalry, Mortars, the Great Cannons, the volley guns, which includes the Steam Tank Volley Gun, the Hellstorm Rocket Battery, the Steam Tanks, so it can benefit from both these and these, that's nice, and the Land Ships. So, in order to upgrade, we would need to maintain a total of 3 of the handgunners, ensure that the following building has been constructed, and perform 3 gunnery school upgrades, which will grant Insoy Experimental Explosive, Tier 2 upgrades, and minus 10% recruitment costs for gunnery units. And then as we progress, we'll see other further upgrades we can get. So, it doesn't look like we have enough schematics to actually get an upgrade right now because we only have 250 schematics. So, for the most part, the technology tree is mostly the same, though you can notice that there are definitely some changes here. Like, up here, it looks kind of similar in terms of categories. Like, okay, I can see there's the infantry, there's the artillery, war machines, possibly some different types of upgrades specifically, but some of the categories are the same, though there's different kind of categories here, like colleges of magic, imperial colleges. I like how it's differentiating these upgrades based on these categories and such. And of course, you can see some of the similar diplomatic ones that like Carl would usually have, such as increase your diplomacy with, say, the high elves, the dwarves. Looks like we've got some different ones here. Kislev, and you become immune to snow attrition. That's a nice change. So you get something out of it as opposed to just more diplomatic relations. Bretonia, more with Cathay, and more with the Ogre Kingdoms. That's funny. And then, of course, increased benefits against certain factions like the Foul, the Fell, the Knife Ears, and the Ruinous Breeds. Dark Lady of Nuln, advisor to Nuln. More schematics gained post-battle for all armies. And purchase cost reduced for Amethyst artillery charges. And more unit capacity. Gardens of more fast travel. That's something else we'll talk about. The fast travel aspect of this as well.
Engineer.
So we start off with Lupio Gassur.
I've got a plan.
Alright, so looks like we start off against the ogres. Let's pick our first thing to research here, of course. We'll go with more campaign movement range and tradable resources. Sure, why not? Let's go ahead and do that. Although, actually, maybe the schematics post-battle might be better. But,
Those Drathjar must end.
I like campaign movement range, what can I say? Of course, we start off with Nuln, so it looks like, here's Reichland, right over here. So if you're thinking, well, this looks different, well, it may look different on Immortal Empires, like how it's supposed to look in Warhammer 1, but this is kind of how it was made for Realms of Chaos here. And I remember seeing this down here going, huh, because of course we would, Kislev was a big focus here, but I was like, okay, this area down here, by the way, of course, we're used to this area because Scrag the Slaughterer starts just right down here. So I was like, I think they'll do some more stuff with the Empire, the Vampires, and the Dwarves, since they have them right over here in this particular map. So, anyways. So, yeah. It's no surprise that we have Nuln and Wisland literally start off right here, like, right in the midst of the other Empire provinces over here. So we start off with Nuln, which has 8 slots here, which has a specific type of new building. I think this is the first time I've seen this new building here, which is focusing on the gunnery ones. We also have a couple landmarks here. We've got the Camp Foundry and the Nuln Gunnery School. We also have the Black Rose Stables and Chapter House, because we've got some new Black Rose units. We also can get an Iron Mining Pit. So yeah, it looks like some of the Empire buildings have changed. In fact, let's just look at the building browser real quick. So you can see some of the, and this is, it's definitely been changed. You can tell, like, the cavalry building here, these are now in the military support category. So these Empire buildings are definitely a little different now. And I'm wondering if this is now the case with the other Empire factions. We'll take a look at that when we try out Karl later on. But, yeah. Alright, Miss Von Draken, what do you say we go ahead and start things off against the ogres over here?
Spirits to Moor's.
We, of course, will go ahead and fight this first battle, so we can take a look at some of our new units, and Miss Von Draken herself, of course. Darn. Oh well. Alright.
Elspeth Von Draken.
That's all we need.
So here she is. Look at that scythe. Oh, that looks awesome. The way it glows. It has the rose petals coming off of it. The black rose. Or the graveyard rose, I suppose. But she does have a cavalry unit called the Black Roses. So I like this rose kind of motif and aesthetic that she and her units are kind of supposed to have. I think it looks really cool. And that scythe does look really awesome. She does start off, of course, as I said, with Dark Walker, which increases her physical resistance. And, of course, she gets a couple of Lore of Death skills right off the bat, including Aspect of the Dread Knight and Spirit Leech. We'll take a look at her skill tree after this fight.
Battle
We must
protocol.
be
She has a engineer as her support specialist to start off. We have some spearmen, swordsmen.
ready for war!
Elspeth von Draken.
Handgunners!
Coalesce!
So we got cannons and hellbuster volleygons. Lovely. Oh, I love it.
Endures!
So one of my favorite mods I found that I've discovered, which has just let me have some more fun with range units, is one that removes friendly fire. Well, not entirely. It's kind of a finicky thing. It tries to remove friendly fire via like range units or projectiles. It doesn't do that with like explosions and spells. But basically, it allows my guys to literally actually fire their weapons when they're standing behind you. Because how many times have you had it where they will not fire their weapons because you have a unit standing in front of them? So they will just be like, nope, we're not going to fire. So then it just kind of like becomes a little annoying and frustrating in that regard. So my mod makes it where they're like, yeah, we'll go and fire. And when they do, it may hit them, but it doesn't hurt them. Now, it's not
Sighted and ready.
entirely like perfect or anything like that, but still, it's like I think you guys get what I mean. Fire!
Let the slaughter begin, and the winds of Shaiish blow. Every drop of blood will only augment my power.
Seething fire!
I used to love doing this back in Warhammer 1. I would like load my army with like a bunch of these artillery units, and then, like especially against like vampire counts, as they would approach, my artillery and war machines would just shred them to pieces.
Gold grounds for this. We are Sigmar's heirs.
Move forward and brace.
Spiritor of Shaiish. All will need more in time.
And they are ogres. I probably should have expected that.
To shadows. Doom, take thee! By the amethyst wind.
By forge and firearm.
You go ahead and just keep focusing on him, alright?
Elspeth von Draken.
Oh, that's not good.
Spearman! Get them!
Wizardess.
Go after them, guys.
For Heldenhammer!
Alright, well, we took them out.
Elspeth von Draken.
Now we just need to focus on these guys over here. Because they are really going after my my handgunners over here. Hey, quit that!
Let's have ya!
Alright, we won. But man, it seemed like our engineer here, he just straight up melted that ogre, that lord. Did you see that? He died pretty fast once I told him to just focus fire that guy. Why are you guys running? We won. I probably should have expected that since we were facing ogres, you know? Because they do have ogre charge. Of course, this is only my starting army. Just wait until you get, like, a bigger and stronger army. And then if you have, like... This is part of the fun of playing the Empire, is when you get some really good, like, range units, and then you just watch them shred the enemy army to pieces. It's glorious to watch. I love it. So I think this is a new option here. Praise Sigmar, which gives you a replenishment. And then we've got this other one here, which of course is probably unique for her. Salvage munitions, which not only gives you experience, but also schematics.
Strip the battlefield.
Also, you'll notice this up here, Imperial Authority. Now, it's not like she's going to become the new emperor or anything. But let's just say that this is now part of the changes that have happened to the Empire, which does go out to other members of the Empire. So it's not just exclusive to Karl anymore.
I protect the Empire.
I'll show this off a bit more when we get to, say, Balthazar.
Lady
All right.
of Shaiish.
So now we've got the province, which we have Imperial Authority, which gives us more growth and control. That's very nice. For the moment, let's go with more control, just to get it under control.
Guardian.
I'll stop. All right, so this is her skill tree. She will have her unique one up here, which reduces healing cap for enemy armies, more winds and magic, recruitment costs for gunnery units. Are all armies, hero capacity faction-wide. The Dark Lady negates magical weapons within the effect area. Wow. She straight up counters magical attacks. That's hilarious. More casualty replenishment and regeneration. And the Purple Sun. And at level 16 is when she gets her iconic Carmine Dragon. You guys probably know how much I love dragon mounts. She'll also get some other stuff here. A banner called the Frostfire Gem. Oh, she's got a number of these up here. The Everwood Rot. And the Doomfire Ring. She has 2 unique items. She will have a mission to get the Pale Scythe at level 12, which increases her spell mastery and spell resistance based on nearby allies or enemies that cast spells. And Death's Timekeeper, which heals per second for herself, as well as does damage to an enemy per second for 10 seconds on 2-minute cooldown, and gives her perfect vigor. And then, of course, a number of the other things that you'd probably expect from a Empire Lord tree here. Alright, so now we've got 535, so now we can actually go ahead and get an upgrade here. Which, since we already have a cannon and a volley gun, I kind of want to go ahead and get this, so, let's look at these upgrades. So, for the first gunnery one, you get plus 10% missile strength for the gunnery infantry units. For the gunnery cavalry, you get more speed, as well as the strider attribute. The mortars get more missile explosion radius. The cannons get monstrous impact attacks, which reduces speed and charge. The volley guns get attribute cannot run removed for Hell Blaster units. This unit cannot run and will only move at walking pace. They get plus 50% speed, and they get the passive ability Wayfarer, which increases both their acceleration and deceleration, so it makes them much faster. That's funny. And the steam tank gets that? Oh, that's hilarious. The rocket battery adds an additional projectile for those units. Steam tanks, more power, more acceleration, speed, and mass. And the land ships get spear ports, which does missile damage reflection. We're going to go with this one for the volley guns.
Annihilation
so
comes
it gives us
at the
that.
pull of a lever.
And then we can be able to, as we get schematics, we can continue to get the first upgrade, which will continue to, I guess, work towards unlocking the next stage in the gunnery school. And that now gives us this right here, which I think
Graveyard Rose.
Oh, you only put this on either an engineer or a master engineer. Well, we just happen to have one. Here you go, pal. There you go. And he'll get a few other ones for a set, which can increase research rate, reduce upkeep for gunnery units, and recruitment cost. Okay. And he can increase mobility and income. Okay. Hey, Carl.
The Celestial College implores that I hear you. I remain unconvinced. Right? What? Yes? The Empire.
Gosh, it's weird seeing generic Empire guys for these factions. After using the Legendary Characters mod, where it basically tries to put the named characters and lore for each of these guys. So, her campaign. Complete the narrative quest chain and final battle, which includes the Nemesis Crown, which is something that is being added, which is more so in Immortal Empire, so it looks like it's going to be in this campaign in Realm of Chaos, which is kind of on par to the Sword of Cain. It's pretty powerful, but oh boy, the negatives you can get from that. Even though it can make you absurdly overpowered, it can also cause a lot of problems. Also, her domination campaign victory is destroyed, looks like the Tamarkon, the Kugath, Kairos, Festus Village, and Daniel, and then also maintain control of 30 provinces. Interesting. But I love that there is a term says narrative quest chain. I love that that is actually something that we are getting here in this game. That these characters are now getting narrative quest chains. Yes, more of that, please. I love it. I want more of it. Defender of the Empire. Spending her days secluded in her towers and experimenting with rare mystic artifacts, Elspeth von Draken stands ready as a true defender of the Empire. Her strength is needed now more than ever for the Feastmaster ogres encroach upon Wizenland, while the vampires to the east pose an ever-increasing threat. The Countess Emanuelle von Libowitz beseeches the Dark Lady for aid. Defeat the factions of the Feastmaster, Waldenhof, and the Drakenhof Conclave to reveal the Empire's greater threats.
Elite troops and potent weaponry, honed and enchanted in the gunnery school, shall bolster our strength.
Ah, this lets you unlock the legendary hero Theodore Bruckner. Continues Elspeth's narrative chain, which gives you Defender of the Empire, which increases campaign movement range. On turn 5. Okay, so I have to get to turn 5 in order to show you guys this other really cool, unique thing she has, which is really, really cool.
Amethyst Mage.
I'm not crazy about having a tier 3 building in my main capital here. I would prefer to put it over here.
Shaiish empowers me.
So that's where she can recruit the Amethyst units, but she doesn't really have them yet. Also, Elector Count State Troops. Now, the thing that's unique about Carl is he'll get access to these right away, whereas the other ones don't, because he's the Emperor and they're not.
Of the Empire.
All right, let's go ahead and get some more units in here. Give her a bigger army. Oh, Stirland was destroyed. Ah. I guess I'll upgrade this for now.
New knowledge is crucial for our elucidation. I call upon your might.
Alright. When the Cult of Mor establishes new gardens, Elspeth is given the opportunity to establish new towers in return for her aid in times of need.
The Gardens of Mor are bastions of solitude in this dark world, where my arcane research and rapid transposition are made manifest.
So, the Gardens of Mor. As part of her arcane learning, Elspeth spends time roaming between her black towers situated within the Gardens of Mor. Her magical storehouse travels with her, imbued with the ancient magic of Falsric to transport her forces and coveted artifacts. Friendly or neutral Empire-owned settlements known to Elspeth can be selected here to construct up to 5 Gardens of Mor. Once constructed, Elspeth and her army can travel instantly to a selected Gardens of Mor via the fast travel button. The Gardens of Mor also offer powerful buildings viewed in the province overview panel via the button to the right of the buildings icons. Select an existing Gardens of Mor for the option to deconstruct and make space for gardens at a different location. So, yeah. So you can select one of these and then fast travel. She has fast travel available. Isn't that amazing? So we can go ahead and start constructing one at Nuln, of course.
Wielder of the Pale Scythe.
So it looks like it's in... So it's like an underground... So it's kind of like the Undercities for the Skaven. Or the cults for the Changeling. So you build them down here as a black tower underneath. Allows Elspeth to fast travel. Immune to diplomatic penalties from trespassing against the region owner. And enables replenishment in foreign territory. It also provides the garrison with a halberdier. So the Gardens of Mor, she can construct one of 3 different buildings. The Amethyst College, which unlocks here recruitment for Amethyst Wizards, Winds of Magic. The Temple of Mor, which unlocks recruitment for the Knights of Mor, Elector Count State Troop, Mercenary Replenishment Time for the Knights of Mor, Elector Count State Troops, -5 Corruption, and Vigor Loss Reduction when fighting against undead factions. It also provides the garrison with Halberdiers, Archers, and Knights of Mor Empire Knights. It reduces the Militia of Mor, which reduces upkeep for all armies in the local and adjacent regions, global recruitment duration for armies in the region, global recruitment capacity, and provides garrison also with mortars and unlocks recruitment of Halberdiers, Hungars, Empire Knights, Knights of the Black Rose, and mortars. The Knights of the Black Rose, armored and shielded anti-infantry cavalry. So, yeah. I think for now we'll go ahead and do the militia so we can be able to recruit them if we want.
Amethyst.
So then, here's what I wonder. So this is where you can see it. There it is. And then you can select for the option deconstruct, or you can select the fast travel.
Through the Black Orchards.
And you'll notice that she fast travels there, but then it goes on cooldown. So yeah, that's a pretty cool mechanic, I gotta say. And then she can just garrison right away when she gets there. Gosh, I love that.
You join the host of the Graveyard Rose.
Alright, I think that might be all I want to show you guys, or can show you guys for now, when it comes to this faction. But that's basically
Rider of the Dragon in Carmine.
the gist until you actually continue upgrading the school in order to be able to do more with the actual... can I just say, I love that there are narrative quest chains and campaigns with these characters now. Yes, please, Creative Assembly. Please continue doing more of these. I want more of this stuff. Don't just let this be a sandbox where our objectives are just capture settlements. That's boring. Give us more interesting things to do with an actual story to it. That just increases our interest and investment. At least it does for me. That's just how I feel about it. Anyways, that's Elspeth von Draken. I am really looking forward to playing her campaign. I'm really looking forward to having more fun with these units. It just feels like this is something that highly appeals to me. As someone who loves to play with the artillery and war machine units of the Empire, I can't wait to play with more of this. But yeah, that's Elspeth von Draken, and when we return, we'll be taking a look at our newest dwarf, Malachi Mackayson. Stay tuned.